Should we reconsider the question of an override at all?
Motion made by Mr. Dardino. Do we have a second? Sure, I'll second. Second by Mr. O'Leary. You have...
I do. I want to say, I want to ask everybody to reconsider the idea of an override. My feeling is, and I'm going to, tell you, my feeling is that the main reason, one of the big reasons we didn't get an override last year was because all parties involved in this town were not on the same page. Not everybody was in agreement. The Finance Committee didn't vote unanimously for the override last year. The School Committee didn't vote unanimously for the override last year. The Board didn't vote unanimously for the override. That kind of confusion creates difficulty in the community, okay? And so here we're faced with the same matter. The School Committee has voted 4-1 against the override. The Finance Committee, I don't want to speak for them, but my sense is that they have not 100% supported the override. Okay, clearly we have some disagreements here. Even the people who voted for the override here are unsure. To me, okay, you add the fact that it's one of the reasons the School Committee is concerned about the main, I don't speak for the School Committee, but my understanding is that the reason the School Committee is concerned about the override is that we may be short next year. The idea of asking for 2 overrides in 2 years, justice is a daunting task. So I ask everybody for us to be uniform, okay? And uniformity suggests that we do not put an override on here. Please reconsider. Remember one other thing. If we put an override through this year, this will be a town override, not a school override, because the school has said they can live within their means. This is a town override. I don't even know the last time I saw the town government put an override on the ballot. But this is our override, not the school's override at this point. So I'd ask that everybody reconsiders.
I guess, if I may, Mr. Chair, I have not changed my position. I do want to go forward with the override to try to restore some of the town government. I beg to differ, Mr. Dardino. I read schools, $312,497 for the schools on the override. So it's not just the town, it's also for the schools. I would be in favor of going forward with the override question because it gives a chance to restore. And the board, just a short while ago, by a majority, voted to give the schools the $200,000 savings if it's realized in the insurance, and now you're taking away every chance to restore some of the town cuts. I say go forward with the override as we spoke about a week ago.
Could I, my understanding, and again, this is a strictly hearsay, and maybe Mr. Webster could clear it up, is that if my understanding was that if the Board of Selectmen decided to keep the override on, the school committee would be in favor of it. But you're not asking us any more longer for an override.
I guess it's there's a practical and a psychological answer here. We didn't take a vote, but I can tell you that there is a consensus on the board, the school committee, that at this point,
You didn't take a vote.
We were told to
Excuse me, you
take a
didn't
vote.
take a vote.
We didn't take an official vote.
Okay.
Oh, Mr. Dardino said you took a vote.
But I can tell you, I think it may be unanimous to, if there was not an override, the school committee would 100% support that. And here's why. Do we want all the programs funded? Absolutely. But the fact that you've been able to come up with, to get us to status quo, then to get us to level 1, and then to get us to level 2, we feel, in this season, this was almost a miracle, to be quite honest with you. And we look at that and we say, we know what's coming up another year down the road. And if we give it another year, maybe the state will get it back together. Maybe there'll be more funding for special ed. Maybe there'll be other programs. Maybe the casinos will get approved. Maybe. So that's what we're looking at there. Do we want level 3? Absolutely. Do we want the computer labs open? Do we want the librarian back to the middle school and the libraries open full time? Yes. But at the same time, we're thinking about kind of the psychology of the town, the economy, all those factors. Now, if it's on there, will we support it? Yes, we'll support it. But I guess the committee is saying, if it's not on there, we're not going to rile people up to stand up at town hall and make a motion to an override or to steal money to keep it like State Hall kind of thing. So it's hard to kind of have this whole thing congeal and give you one answer. If it's there, we'll support it.
Mr. Harris.
Bit of a compromise, kind of would like to see. We could, I know we just took a vote a few minutes ago to allocate some money at a special town meeting or October in the future. Mr. O'Leary said earlier that he would like to see the school, the override go for the school and the trash fees. And the difference, well, those two items together are $610,117.
Actually, if you take 50 away because of the small cap, it's actually 561.17.
561.17, and the difference is $257,413. $257,413. I apologize. If we could get some assurance that that money would be completely reallocated in October,
You can't get them like
I don't know if we could do
You
that.
can't. It's up to town meeting. There's no assurances on that money.
Well, no, I'm just saying if we could put it up there that we could do that, possibly do it, then I'd say we could go for an override of 610,117 instead of the full
That's what I
867,000.
said, it's actually
I don't agree.
No.
561.17.
That's not the same, that's not the same as what the motion is, which is talking about no override.
That's fine.
Well, no,
This is a government, I don't even remember the last time I heard selectmen put a government override on, but I'm
Well,
surprised.
it wouldn't be Phil, it wouldn't be a government override. It would just be the school and the trash fees, and then we could reallocate the rest of the
Yeah,
money in
but
October.
the school is telling you they're okay without it. I mean, I don't know how you
it's
say,
just
you wanna make it a
just an
school
idea.
override, but the school said they're okay without it.
All right, it's
Mr.
just an
Bellica.
idea.
I'm sorry, the administration just wants to weigh in. I would be reluctant to want to again spend money that we don't have. That's free cash that doesn't exist. It doesn't exist right now. It doesn't exist until we do our balance sheet. And I would say that's a real dangerous practice to go down that road. I would not want my name to be on that, Michael.
Oh, that's fine,
I
I'm
mean,
just,
we've already committed some
thinking.
of it to
all right.
capital.
Well, let's vote on the motion.
Then I-
Just one clarification though, it's not, I guess it's a matter of measuring not wanting it, and to a certain extent, and maybe some people here in the audience don't want to get it, where you start to feel greedy and piggish, okay? And that's, I think that's where the school committee is at, saying, this is a great, last year we lost the override, caused big problems. This is a great step forward without having to go for an override. So I think that's where we stand. It's not that we don't want it.
There's no question we need this, no question we
Phil,
need
let
this
him
money.
talk.
There's no question we need this money, no question. School needs it, the town needs it, there's no question we need it. But I don't think that's the issue. The issue is, should we go for an override? You know, everybody's hurting. Everybody, every town, every person, everybody's hurting. Is it time to go for an override? And I think the answer is no. And I think especially because we're not uniform. That's why we lost last time, and that's the problem again, is that we're not, across the board, we're not uniform.
We're not gonna get unanimity on these issues ever. Right. You know, and the thing is,
You're right,
you know,
Steve.
we've all been elected by the general public, and I think we're a pretty good reflection of what the community is out there, along with ourselves, the school committee, and the appointed finance committee. I think, you know, so you're not gonna get unanimity.
I don't agree
You know,
on
what-
that. I disagree on that.
You know, in other words, what you have is you have a lot of compromises on things. Like, I agreed to go with an override, but I'm not in agreement with everything that's on there. But, you know, because
You reach
in the
an
best
agreement.
interest of it all. And what I would ask you, Mr. Dardino, is to consider, if it appears as though we don't have a majority of the people here, if you haven't got 4 out of the 5 of us willing to take it off, so it's going to be on there. I mean, for the sake of consistency, you voted consistently against an override. You said you weren't in favor of it, but you were voting and packing this thing with some of these other issues. I would ask you to just narrow it down to give people the choice. And again, we can do that on a simple majority vote by narrowing the choices down and making it a real override.
Let's vote on the motion we have.
Well, the
Then
motion we have is...
Make another motion.
The thing is that it doesn't appear as though we've got a 4/5 vote.
We have a motion.
So
Let's-
if
we have a
that's the
second. Let's
case,
vote.
then I would suggest that I would ask you to be consistent in your positions. If you're opposed to it, then at least whittle it down so it's a reasonable proposal to put forth for the public that can pass, which is the trash in the school. And get the extraneous stuff out of the way.
Well, the motion on the table is to reconsider, right? And then,
No, we've already
In order to
voted
take-
to reconsider.
all right,
This is a vote to either,
put it on or
To remove it.
To remove
remove
it.
it.
This is about to remove it.
And it takes...
Let's, 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. There was a gentleman in the back that hadn't had an opportunity to comment that,
I drove Bodie 25 hours ago. I'm just a little perplexed by, no, I understand what Mr. Daniel was trying to say here, but you gotta put it out there with the voters decide what we're gonna do here. It's up to I'm generally insulted by the fact that you're sitting there telling us what we need and we don't need, and what the school committee wants and doesn't want. The school committee did the right thing by saying, hey, listen, we don't wanna get greedy, we're taking what you're giving us, and I understand why they didn't want to ask for an override. But it's our decision, not yours. Give us that opportunity.
Now, you know,
Give us the
I
opportunity.
respect your opinion. I respect your opinion, I don't necessarily agree, but, and I'm not the only one who doesn't agree, because the school committee told you what
They
they thought.
didn't vote for it. Don't, you turned around and told us they had a 4-to-1 vote, and it was not accurate, you said. I'm sitting here insulted by the fact that we can't make a decision on how we're gonna spend our money, and how our taxes are gonna be used. You know, if I wanna give more money to the town, because I want my kids to have a good education, give me that opportunity. You're not even giving us the opportunity to do that. You're not giving us the opportunity to say how we spend our money and how we send our kids to school. Give us that opportunity.
understand.
And you know what, if the majority, this is a democracy, if the majority turns around and says to us, we don't want an override, I respect that, I respected it last year, I respect it. And I want the opportunity to have that vote again this year. If the majority again votes that we don't wanna do it, then you know what, then I respect that too. That's what this country's based on, people voting for what they want, and the majority getting what they want.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Mr. Harris.
I'd just like to reiterate what I said earlier. I think we've done our job. The budget we've put together is, I've viewed it as a contingency budget all along, and I'd like to see the override go up there and see how people think.
Might as well vote.
Just some call for vote.
The motion before us is to what? To,
To remove the
remove
override.
Right, and then we're gonna have to take one more vote on the money,
what the dollar amount's
on
going to
the dollar amount, because we didn't do that last week.
be.
Okay. So, on the question of removing the override question from the ballot, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Who's in favor of removing the question?
It'll sink in, Bob.
No, I expected more than one aye.
Oh.
So I'm scratching my head here.
If it isn't you, I don't know who it'd be.
All opposed?
No.
No, okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the override amount be allocated as follows.
Since we have a complete list.
Well, I know, but
would you have
I
to
want to
follow
try
the list
something
just
else first, all right, Mr. Chairman?
Okay.
I move that the override amount be $560,117,000 as follows. School budget, 312,
You wanna take the triple off of it?
97, yep.
I'm not gonna second Michael.
That would be
School budget,
$330.
$262,497. Employee benefits, $73,800, for a total of $336,297. And number two, restore municipal budget trash fees, $223,820, for a total of $560,117.
So, if I understand you right then, you are leaving the small cap on both of those for the October town
Yes.
meeting.
Right.
Okay, we have a motion on the table.
That's what Mr. Harris was suggesting also.
Greg, do we need a four-fifths vote for this number two?
You should, yeah.
Why is that? It's just a simple majority as to what goes on. It's a question of what goes on, not whether the question goes on, not what the content of it is.
No, the override is.
Well, let's let Greg clarify that.
My impression is you're voting a new override question with a new dollar amount.
No, we voted to put an override question on the ballot.
Right.
Right, now we need to vote on
The specifics and the
specific
final dollar amount.
So the question is, do we
You
need
didn't
a
vote any final
four-fifths
dollar
vote?
amount.
So, Mr. Chairman, defer to yourself on this question. I don't have any good comment.
Well, as there was a motion for the specific